Hey now. Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. You think I'm color coordinated because I've got the pocket square, the tie, and the hat? You think that's all just by happenstance? I shall explain why in just a moment. Great time of year for sports. Thank you, Bet Parks. Thank you, Bet Parks. The Bet Parks Sportsbook app. Download it now. Join me and win some real money and have some skin in the game. You got baseball, you have golf, you've got pro basketball and pro hockey playoffs. It's fun to sit and watch, having invested a little bit in some prop bets. It's the only sportsbook app that I recommend. Live in-game betting. It lets us bet and watch the action all at the same time, bet on more than the score, like player performances for hits and homers and strikeouts in baseball, or points and rebounds and assists in hoops. All new users bet $10, get $125 in sportsbook bonus if your first bet wins. BetParks.com has terms and conditions, new users and winning bets only. Sports bonus bet has to be wagered once, got to be 21, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Ohio. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So I'll tell you about the CNN program that I'm about to deliver in just a moment. But I don't want to forget to tell you this, and I want to tell you a quick background story. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, I'm going to host the 9 o'clock CNN hour from New York, live from New York. I'm not taking off any radio next week. I'm pulling double duty, long days, a lot of planning is going into it. TC and I have been very busy in preparing so that radio doesn't miss a beat, and I can also be on air. It's just hard for me because you deliver the show from 9 to 10. It's not like I can just go to bed thereafter because I'm wired. But the newsletter's it's like a newspaper. It's got to get out early in the morning and it's got to be topical. So it takes a great deal of planning. Okay. So in the midst of all of this planning, and obviously there are a lot of eyes when you're on in prime time, although candidly, we do well on Saturday mornings and sometimes attract more viewers on a Saturday morning that they get in prime time. But I get it. There's a prestige factor to anchoring at 9 p.m. So I want it to go well. Meanwhile, back in the studio, we have a closet, the radio studio. We have a closet with, by the way, this will probably be the most interesting thing I tell you as I summarize today's headlines. Okay? Are you paying attention? Is anyone paying attention? Steve Slattery, love the suit and baseball cap. You look like Angus Young. Yeah, from AC/DC. JV, love the tie. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, you're paying attention. All right, Michelle Moore is paying attention. Thank you, Michelle. I shall continue. So in the radio studio, which is not too large, and a number of you came and paid a visit recently, there's a closet. And in the closet, there are some old promotional posters and I'll say radio ephemera. There are cleaning supplies, including the almighty Fabulosa, which TC is seeking to ban from the studio. She claims she has sensitive nasal passages or some such thing. I'm hoping that when she gets over the hip, she'll get over the Fabulosa as well. But there's also an HVAC unit in the closet, which heats and cools only our studio. So in the building, they've been going through each of the units, a bunch of dentists and doctors and plastic surgeons and me, and replacing the HVAC units. And they've created a lot of noise while I've been on air, but the guys are really nice. They know what I do. They've been very cool in trying to not work in close proximity when I'm on radio. But the moment has finally arrived where our HVAC unit has to get replaced, which means all the equipment that we have stored in the closet has to come out so that the guys have access. So installation day was, I guess it was Thursday, post-show on Thursday. So, TC is like at 50% capacity because of her hip replacement. So I moved all the stuff out of the closet after the show on, I guess it was Wednesday. And then they came in, maybe I have my days mixed up. All I know is this happened yesterday. So they came in, they did the job when we were out. Now we come back in and I have to move the stuff back into the closet. And I'm doing this hurriedly before yesterday's program. And I walk into the closet 10 minutes before the radio show starts. And you're saying, why are you doing it then? A, because I'm a little nutty. B, because I'm a little compulsive. I guess A and B are related and the same. And C, because the show was ready to go and I'd rather blow off steam, cleaning and organizing than anything else. I'm a guy who loves the Container Store, okay? I walk into the closet, I bend down to move some stuff, and I bang my head into an electrical panel hanging on the wall. And I'm like, fuck. Because I got my own TV show on Saturday, and I'm going to be on in prime time all next week. I have to insure this noggin. Do you remember, see, I told you, right? Yeah, I told you, right? And by the way, yes, there was blood. I said in my pre-chit chat, I said there will be blood. There was blood. There was blood. So I quickly ran across the street to a vendor and got a bag of ice, put that on my noggin, and then I delivered my opening monologue yesterday. Were you listening yesterday when I told the story of the first responders at Sandy Hook? Yeah. So while I was telling you that story, I'm holding my head with a bag of ice. I got to insure my noggin. I think that's the answer. Do you remember George in Seinfeld when he's a hand model? It was one of the greatest Seinfeld episodes ever. Like George I think it was also the puffy shirt episode. And then, yeah, because wasn't he ironing the puffy shirt and he hurt his hands and he was getting paid all this money? I don't know. I think George had insurance on his hands. I'm going to have to call my friend Bobby Flood and get insurance on my noggin, because how can I be on TV? So I'm almost finished with this crazy story. So here's the other funny thing. Hang on a second. My makeup for CNN, and in my man bag with my brass knuckles and my handgun and my beef jerky and some other things, I keep my makeup with all that other stuff, of course. But I'm like the easiest makeup job in the world, right? I have MAC and I have a little Annie Shine, and I think this is for like bags under my eyes. And there's a great makeup artist, Lily Toth. She'll be here any second. She may be watching from the next room. Lily, if you're in the next room, if you've arrived, come in here, please. Please, please, please. So I'm the easiest in the world because I don't want a lot of makeup. But I sent her a note yesterday and I said, hey, like bring your whole bag, because this is HD and it's hard to hide something. So it's like now last night, Neosporin, it's a gash. Neosporin did a really good job and I kept the Band-Aid on it overnight. So the healing was amazing. So the issue is, will you see it if you watch CNN today? Will you see it? I don't know. We're gonna see how good a job Lily can do. Try and mask the gash. I told you were going to find this interesting. Right. Yeah. TC's scar from surgery and my gash on my head. We're like the walking effing wounded. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. So to business now. You saw the thumbnail for our conversation. Lori lights up the Democrats. Lori Lightfoot is the outgoing Chicago mayor. She got dumped in the election, third place finish. And then there was a runoff. She wasn't even in the runoff. So yesterday she spoke to an organization along with, it's called the African American Mayors Association Conference. And she said things that if I tweaked the words slightly, you would swear they came from a conservative pundit. As Democrats, I would have taken out the word Democrat if I were seeking to hide the ball. If we do not speak the truth about violent crime in our cities, we will be the worse for it. I come to this conversation as a former federal prosecutor. I come to this as a former defense attorney. I am the sister of a returning resident. What does that mean? I am the sister of a returning resident. What's that mean, guys? But I know there are people in my city that are wreaking havoc every day and need to be off the streets. That's reality. What do we say to not only the victim of crime, but the people who are terrified about crimes in their neighborhood, most of them who look like us? If we say, yeah, the police department is spending all this time and resources to arrest, put a case on, and the judges and the prosecutors say, you know what? We're going to let you out on electronic monitoring to wreak havoc again. Lori Lightfoot asked, if somebody musters the courage to come forward and identify the persons who just shot up their neighborhood and then they see Pookie walking bold as day back on the street 2 days later, what does that say to them? Lori Lightfoot, sounding very much like a law and order politician. And the poll question today at Smerconish.com asks, is she right? I think she is right. We had two really good conversations this week about crime on the program. One was with a Brookings Institute researcher named Hannah Love. She was on yesterday. What was the takeaway? The takeaway was that crime is up. I mean, these crime statistics, liars figure and figures lie. Honest to God, you can make anything you want out of the crime data. But I think big picture, crime is up. Violent crime is up in cities and in rural areas proportionately. But in the downtown areas, which get the most attention, if there's a crime in Center City, Philadelphia, where I'm seated right now, or in the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, like those marauding teens last weekend, that gets all the attention. That gets all the attention. But it's blown out of proportion because the crime in the downtown areas is not, I think, what the perception might be. And then the second guest that I had on crime this week was Jocelyn Simonson, who's a law professor in Brooklyn. And we were talking about cash bail. And we had a really good conversation. She believes in the elimination of cash bail. The perception is, and Lori Lightfoot was referencing this, that there's a revolving door and that people are being let out by progressive prosecutors and they are committing crimes. Well, what does the data say on that? Well, the data is complicated, but you heard my guest in advocating for the elimination of cash bail. You heard Professor Simonson saying that they usually make the second appointment. They might not make the first appointment because maybe it's job or family related, but they eventually show up. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of what she had to say. So I'm going to try and synthesize some of the crime data at the outset of the CNN program, show viewers what Lori Lightfoot said, and then push the poll question of whether you agree with her. So I hope you'll go and vote on today's poll question at Smerconish.com. In addition to that, the Supreme Court, for now, safeguarded access to abortion pills. That's going to probably come back to the court after the Fifth Circuit weighs in on this case. I want to talk about that. I'm going to do that actually from an interesting angle with Muhammad Yunus, who's the editor-in-chief of Gallup. There's some polling that Gallup has done that suggests that prospective college students, now they want to know, what's your ranking? How's the social life? Is the food any good? And oh, by the way, what's the abortion policy of the state in which the school is located? It's actually factoring into the admissions process. Dr. Samuel Woolley will join me and we'll talk about Elon Musk. He's a professor, meaning Dr. Woolley. This whole blue check thing, and I talked about it on radio yesterday. I'm not going to pay my money for my blue check. I don't think that's the big issue. It's not LeBron James and William Shatner and who was the third one? I don't know. One of the other celebrities that Elon covered their fee. No, it's the confusion that this might spike among government entities that could be problematic and cause confusion. It doesn't make business sense to me what Musk is doing, and I think he's a brilliant guy, but I don't get it. Ron Brownstein is brilliant. I want to talk to Ron Brownstein about what's going on both sides of the presidential campaign aisle. Ron DeSantis had a 14-point lead over Donald Trump several weeks ago. Donald Trump now has a 13-point lead over Ron DeSantis. A complete flip-flop. Why? 2 words. Alvin Bragg. I'll talk to Ron Brownstein about that. Meanwhile, only half the Democrats want Biden to run again. And 14% of Biden voters say they're for RFK Jr. So there's that. And then finally, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's lawyers are going to sit down with the U.S. Attorney's Office investigating Hunter Biden. They've been looking at Hunter Biden since 2018. It's not that complicated a case. What is going on? And now there's a so-called IRS whistleblower who says it's all politics. It's all politics. Well, I got to tell you something. If it's taken 5 years to figure out whether he lied on a form when making a gun application, it must be politics. So there's all that. There is all that. And there's this. Hang on a second. Let me see if Lily's here. Lily.
She's here. She won't go in.
Why?
She said she won't
Come
go
on.
in.
I'm still live. Here, you don't have to go on camera. You can just be a voice off camera.
It's just for you.
All right. So today, are you going to be on camera or not?
Okay.
Just let him get a look at you.
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal. I don't think I'm going to unmask it here live on YouTube. Okay. But I told everybody I'm the easiest job you ever get.
Yes.
You need MAC,
Yes.
anti-shine,
Yes.
and bags under my eyes.
I think we should work with a wig today.
A wig,
A wig.
a tuber.
A tuber.
Do you have a tuber in your bag?
We can make something work, I think.
Seriously, this is HD. Like I have a gash.
How bad?
How bad? It
Let's do a
healed.
reveal.
I will. You want to do a reveal?
Let's do
Okay, I'll do it. Emily, let me ask if YouTube Live, do you want to see it now? You want to see it now? Yes or no? Hurry up. Tell me. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, well, people want to see it. So it healed amazingly overnight. I put Neosporin on it and the Band-Aid. So it looks a lot better.
Good.
You want to see what you're going to work with?
Yes.
All right. I can't even get the damn Band-Aid off.
Oh my God, that is nothing.
What?
I don't even see
What?
anything.
Look at that.
There's nothing there.
Do you see? Right frickin' there.
Oh, you're such a man. I can't imagine the colds you have. There's nothing there.
Do you think you can mask it?
I think I can.
What do you mean, where is it? Jester Development? Chris Mack? Big deal. A
I'm surprised you didn't
boo-boo.
come with like a neck brace.
Do you know that I'm performing in pain? Yeah, your big baby is what they're telling me.
Smart audience.
All right, we're done here. We got work to do. We have work to do. I'll see you on TV. Thank you, I think.
Oh my God, you're so funny. There's nothing there.